When it comes to communication, there are a lot of different factors that come into play. Whether you're communicating with a colleague, friend, or family member, it's important to be aware of both verbal and nonverbal cues. The way you say something is just as important as the words you use. Tonality, volume, and speed can all affect the way your message is received. It's also important to be aware of your body language. Facial expressions, eye contact, and hand gestures can all send different messages. With all of these factors to consider, it's no wonder that communication can be difficult. However, by keeping these things in mind, you can become a master of communication. 1. Sit down with a notepad and write out what you want to say before speaking to avoid scattered thoughts. In order to master the art of effective communication, it is important to sit down with a notepad and write out what you want to say before speaking. This will help to avoid scattered thoughts and ensure that you are communicating your message in a clear and concise manner. When you take the time to plan out what you want to say, you are more likely to be able to communicate your thoughts effectively and avoid any misunderstandings. 2. Make eye contact and smile when talking to someone to show you are interested in what they are saying. When you are talking to someone, it is important to show that you are interested in what they are saying. Making eye contact and smiling is a great way to do this. It lets the other person know that you are engaged in the conversation and that you care about what they are saying. People often underestimate the power of nonverbal communication. Making eye contact and smiling can make a big difference in how the other person perceives you and the conversation. It can make the difference between a person feeling like you are really interested in them and their story, or feeling like you could care less. In our culture, making eye contact and smiling is generally seen as a sign of respect. When you do these things, it shows that you value the other person and their time. It also shows that you are interested in what they are saying. So, if you want to master the art of effective communication, make sure to make eye contact and smile when you are talking to someone. It will make a big difference in how the conversation goes. 3. Be an active listener and restate what the other person has said to make sure you understand. In order to master the art of effective communication, it is important to be an active listener and to restate what the other person has said to ensure that you have understood them correctly. Active listening involves paying attention to both the words that the other person is saying and the nonverbal cues that they are giving off, such as their body language and tone of voice. It is also important to be respectful and patient when communicating with others, and to avoid interrupting them or finishing their sentences for them. If you are unsure about something that the other person has said, it is perfectly fine to ask them to clarify it. The most important thing is to ensure that both parties are on the same page and that misunderstanding is avoided. 4. Use I statements to own your feelings instead of placing blame. When communicating with others, it is important to be clear about what you are feeling. Oftentimes, we can be tempted to place blame on others when we are feeling frustrated or upset. However, this usually only makes the situation worse. Instead, try using I statements to own your feelings and communicate more effectively. For example, rather than saying, "You always make me so angry," try saying, "I get really frustrated when I feel like I'm not being heard." This way, you are taking responsibility for your feelings and putting the focus on finding a solution instead of placing blame. It can be difficult to remember to use I statements in the heat of the moment, but with a little practice, it will become second nature. If you find yourself starting to blame others for your feelings, take a step back and try to reframe your statement using an I statement. It may not always be easy, but it will help you to communicate more effectively and find better solutions to conflicts.